So this is my workspace, and we would fetch the metadata across all the objects in the files folder across all the lake houses in this workspace. So this workspace has three lake houses, with one lake house having a very complex directory structure with multiple hierarchies across the folders, having multiple objects, and one lake house having a very simple structure with just one file at the root location, while the third lake house having no objects or no hierarchy. So this is the lakehouse that has a very complex directory structure. So as you can see, there are a few files at the root location and having multiple folders with multiple files across all the folders. So if you see here, let me just, okay. So yeah, so in this key underscore one, we have we have a text a CSV file for test one, and at the root location we have a few files, all right, and multiple folders. So we'll fetch the metadata for all the objects under the file. So we can fetch the metadata for the tables as well. But since the tables don't have any hierarchies, so just to fetch the metadata for the tables, all we have to do is the change the files keyword to the tables here. So just changing the files keyword to the tables will return all the metadata for the tables. So this is the code that I have developed. So I'm using a browser-based authentication with a cache bearer token, so that the process does not prompt for a bearer token whenever it wants to fetch a response. And this is the location. So this is the location where the CSV files with the metadata details gets created for all the objects in the workspace. So I'll debug the code step by step, and we'll see how the code traverses across the objects to return the metadata. So this is the main method, which is basically the entry point to the application. And this is our first method, traverse all lake houses in workspace. So this method would traverse across all the lake houses in the workspace. So we are using the J object to traverse the JSON data returned by the response object through the get method. So I've created a custom get method with few additional details, like it accepts the bearer token. All right, so the response object contains the paths array. So when we fetch the response from the get method, then convert it to a J object, and then using the J array property, which is this, we run the method in recursion to return the metadata across the hierarchy. So let me start debugging the code. Let me start from here. Okay, so this function takes the workspace as a parameter. So I'll just not step in. So it will prompt for a browser-based authentication. So your J object should have the details of quick watch. Let's convert to string. Yeah, so the J objects has the list of all the objects under the workspace. So it has a lake house, the warehouse, and the mountain relational data, GraphQL. Right. So we then continue, and here is where, so the path dot name basically is the name of the object. So if I do a quick check the value of the, so path dot name basically contains the name of the object. So here we are interested in the lakehouse. So what I've done is that I've created a filter so that only if we run the metadata, we run the process only to fetch the metadata only for the lake houses. All right, and then yeah, so now the traverse all across. So basically, this method, what it will do is that it will traverse across all the directories in the lakehouse. So the arguments that this method takes is the workspace name, the lakehouse name, and the files, because files is the root folder, right, in any given lakehouse. Okay, now this should have a list of all the directories. And the file, sorry, all the objects in the files folder. So as you can see, it has the CSV, it has a few folders. So these are all the folders that exist at the files folder. Okay, and then what we do is that we filter out the directories first. Okay, so there's a property in this uh, this J object. I'll show that. So there's a property here called as an where is it? Yeah, is directory, right? So basically, this helps us identify if the given object is a directory or not. So this is a file here. So we don't have that property here. So this property is basically an identification to identify a directory or a file. So first thing that we do is that we filter out, we check if the property exists in the collection or not. So here we say that it's null. We check if this property exists or not. So the first element in the array, the paths array, is a file, right? So I'll show that again. So, so this is the file, right? So there is no property called is directory existing in this element of the array. So it went it so the code stepped into the else method, else part. So basically what I'm trying to get here is the name of the file, right? Since this is the, let me put a quick let me put a watch here, because every time putting a quick watch. So I'll say to string. Yep, so this is the, so the name has a very like a long so it's not like, it doesn't return only the name of the file, basically returns the entire structure. Okay, so what we are interested only the file name. Okay, and then we we create a path based on the file name. So this is the path that I have created. So we have a workspace here, we have the lakehouse, the files folder, and the file name. Okay, and this method, return metadata, we'll just debug it. Okay, so now what will happen is that it will go and check the, it will fetch a response object for this specific path that we have sent as an argument to this method. So your DFS endpoints is changes to this, right? So we have one lake, Fabric, Microsoft.com, my workspace, lakehouse files, one's a CSV. Okay, and so it fetches the response object. So this is the response. So it gives us all the detail, the metadata detail, that the creation, the last modified, okay, the permissions that it has. So again, this being a file, so we won't have that property called path is directory, so it will step into the else part of the condition. And again, we are fetching the file name. So we have files slash one.csv, and now this will start writing into the CSV for, it will start writing to a CSV. Okay, so we have the file name. So what we are doing is we are fetching the file name, we are fetching the path, which is the complete HTTPS path, then the creation, the last modified, and the permissions. So now you should see a file created here. So basically, the process would create two different files, one for the file metadata and second for the directory metadata. So this returns the JSON object. Okay, now in the second element in our collection is a directory. So do I refresh? So we have already created a metadata for 1.csv. Now the second element uh, in the collection is a directory, right? So since it has a is directory true property, it will step into the here we'll fetch the folder name. So it has folder one secret, all right, and then it will start returning. It will start writing to the CSV file. You should see a different file. So yeah, so now we have a directory metadata file created. Okay. Now here is where the recursive process comes into picture. Since it's possible that this folder might have a children for subfolders under it, right? The children folders. So the process should be able to uh, traverse to the traverse across the subfolders to fetch the metadata of those subfolders. So let's check in our app. So what was the name of the file folder? So it was folder underscore with secret, right? So now folder underscore with secret has a secret underscore one, then secret underscore one, and this folder again has a subfolder underscore one and underscore one. So basically, this process should return all the metadata for all the subfolders under this main folder, folder underscore with secret. Okay. Now in this response object, you should see the metadata as a collection of those of the subfolders. I think it's better I should check through the J object because response is a string. Okay, I should check it here. Okay, it's under. Yeah. So what we have is that we have a one.parquet, which is a file under the folder underscore with secret folder, and then we have three subfolders under it, one, two, three. So we have one, and then we have a subfolder under one, which is sorry, yeah, we have a subfolder called underscore one, which is this, and then we have a subfolder under this, under with secret underscore one, called with secret underscore one, which is this, and then we have a subfolder under this folder, right, which is this. Let's see if there are any files existing. Oh, so we have a file called test one underscore CSV and under this folder, which is this, right? Underscore one CSV, yeah, which is this. And then we have another folder called two, and then we have two underscore one and two underscore one underscore one. So we have two underscore one and two underscore one underscore one, and then we have another folder called three and has no subfolders, and then it has with secret, right? With secret folder with secret product underscore CSV products.csv, which is this. Okay, this is this. Okay, so in the next iteration, the process would traverse through the folder underscore with files folder. Okay, so let's run this. So I'll just okay. So you should see the data or metadata added to this CSV file. Now let's go to the next iteration. Okay. Now this is gonna okay. I should put okay. Now here is where the process would start traversing to the folder underscore with files folder. If it finds any is direct equal to true property. Yeah. So here is where it would find fetch the folder with files folder, which is this. So you have to traverse across the folder as well. But as we don't have any folders under this folder or any objects under this folder, so it's gonna write the metadata only for this folder. Identity object. Now this is the file, which is this file, which is quantity.txt. Then quantity.txt exists. Where does it exist? So it should exist under the root folder. Okay. So he's gonna loop through across all the objects in this root location. Okay, so it's done with one, two, three, and now it's gonna loop across these three uh, files. So let me, I'll just remove all the breakpoints and put a breakpoint here. So, put it here. So the file name is myfile.txt. Okay, and the next is working hours data underscore manual CSV, which is this. And the next is sales data, sorry, sales underscore data dot CSV, which should exist in the where is this? Okay, so this exists on the lakehouse workspace. Okay, sales underscore data CSV. Oh, okay, sorry, this is under different this is not under this lake house. As I said, so there are three lake houses. So I'm looking at the wrong lake house. So I filtered. So it's here. Is looping through the second lake house. Yep. So here you have it. It's fetching the metadata for the second lake house. So if you see here, the lake house is temporary lake house underscore one dot lake house. Get the metadata. Yeah, that's all. Okay, and since this third lake house has no objects, this lake house has no object. There was no need for iterating this lake house. There are no objects under this either under the files folder for this lake house. All right, so let's check our CSV file. We'll go back to our first lake house, which is this. Yep. So what it has is, so it has the lakehouse name, the name of the folder, and the location to that particular folder. So it is, so this folder exists on the files uh, under the root directory, and then this folder exists under the folder underscore with secret folder. This exists under the folder underscore with secret key underscore one folder. All right, and this exists under the, so this basically is the folder under the files folder in another lakehouse called temporary underscore lakehouse underscore one underscore dot lakehouse, right? And this is the permission, this is the creation time, this is the uh, modified time. Okay, one thing that I observed is that the creation time is written in form of a text. So if you look here, so the creation time is in form of text. So when I converted into a date time, the year, right? The year is not getting converted right in the correct or manner. So I think there's some issue with the creation time generated by the by the Fabric storage. And apart from this, yeah, we have the permissions, we have the modified time, we have the path, we have the type, which is the directory, we have the lakehouse name, and we have the name of the directory. And if you go, let's check the file metadata. Yeah, we have the file name, the location of the file name, and same the creation time, modified time, and the permissions. And yeah, so here also is the same issue that the year part doesn't get is not like correct. The ticks aren't getting converted to an year. I'm not sure what's the problem, because I checked online also. There are like a few online tick converters, like converts the ticks to date time. So when I put this value, so it generates some weird year values, something similar to like this. So I think there's a problem with the ticks value itself, where the year part is getting is in incorrect format. Okay, all right, that's all. So I hope I'm able to explain with a much clarity like how the entire code works. And yeah, if you do have any questions, do let me know. Post them in the article, and I'll be very glad to answer them. All right. Okay. Thank you very much.